Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Cao Yang, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested in migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once about all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Alright, today's video I would like to discuss a trend of the so-called employment sponsored visa, which is the one of the largest inquire type of visa apart from the independent skill migration, where we are still pending and waiting on the new point test system. Without the new system to be out, I don't think there will be much of actions to be done. So, but we do know for past 12 months that they perhaps a little bit shorter. I think starting from late last year, 2023, there has been new policy and changes towards an advantage towards the employment sponsored visa, where they gotta first of all they have allowing all the medium, long and short term occupation list to be able to transfer into a permanent resident. They have dropped from the existing requirement of 3-year work after 482 to 2 years in order to transfer into permanent residence, and they are gonna invited a new replacement into a so-called skills in demand and inserting a more capability of employment sponsored visa. So obviously we can see the trend, where the trend is moving now. Despite of all the bad and sad and the news in regards to international education, and also in regards to the 485 visa age cap and things like that, if we look towards the future, I do believe there is a bright future towards the migration to Australia. Why do I say that? Because since the change of these student visa requirement, inserting a more strict checks on the risk level priority, we have seen all that from ASQA, from the immigration, from the Department of Education, catching all these so-called ghost colleges. Now, what that gonna be is what the government of Australia is doing now is wiping out all the bad players. Now, talking about bad players, now how did the bad player actually start? Now we cannot just talk about the bad side about the employer, where obviously there has been a bad player in the workforce that provides low salary, so-called modern slavery. However, we need to also understand if there is no one accepting such conditions, then such bad player wouldn't even exist anyway. So it goes, it's either the chicken or the eggs, either side. So getting rid of these conditions is the key, and this condition for the past 10 years are also the key indicator that all the average salary for the Australian hasn't really been catching up with the all the inflation thing around the world. So wiping out these bad players is actually very important for the economy and for the whole community of Australia. Now, talking about this, obviously they are so in the existing or the previous systems, it actually allows a lot of people coming in through student visa by ways of getting a very cheap courses and paying in so many installments, and their aim and their goal and their intention obviously is not to study, obviously is not to get any knowledge or qualification wise to gain their career profile. It's only a way to buy times in Australia in order to actually work. So that actually killed a lot of the economy and industry and make it hostile in a way. Why do I say that? Now, obviously, if we look at this, I've just done a very quick Google search. Now, I'm not going to mention which college that is, but look at this. They're still out there promoting the cheapest course in Australia, and how cheap that is. Now, obviously, you may want to, I don't want to disclose the college of such. You may want to do your Google search. You will see, you just punch in cheap courses Australia. You see a lot of these players out there, and these players are required to be wiped out because what they're doing is actually hurting the economy, hurting the community of Australia, whilst the employer. Think about this. If you're a business owner, you're an employer, and you have a way to access to cheaper labor, what do? Of course, you will access to cheaper labor, so you keep the cost down, keep the expenses down. Then you have a better net profit for your business. That's pretty simple logic and mathematics. So if the system still continue to allow this kind of cheap courses, allowing cheap labor to come in whilst using student visa, then of course no employer would like to employ the actual professional. Then with the wage and the ratio will continue to be stagnant in the way that is. So I'm pretty welcome with the new policies, international student policies on the risk level priority and catching those ghost colleges. So then we can wipe out all this so-called the employer, the workers exploitation, which has been, you can punch in this phrases. You will see a lot of news in the past 10 to 20 years perhaps, and it's also so-called they call it modern slavery. They look into criminalize such conducts from, usually it's a group of people, not just for one person, one player can't really be there. So these are the issues of the exploitation from the migrant workers, if that can be stopped. So what would that actually do once that's, I can't say we'll 100% stop the whole thing. There will still be bad players out there. However, to clear the stage, to clear the environment, the good thing is now the employer of Australia will no longer, will be very, very hard, because they criminalize the conducts, and also they're putting a lot of new policies and law around it, and also clear out all these cheap courses, ghost colleges, so no other international student can actually come in utilizing such courses or student visa to actually work anymore. So the Australian employer can then, obviously the demand will still be there, they still need skills, right? So then the Australian employer can only access to the good players out there, the good graduates, the international student. Actually, intention was to hold such qualification, come to Australia to study the skills and foresee the future to actually work in the workforce. Whilst putting in this scenario, then obviously all the employer is required to hire, to employ those skilled talents, by under the new policies. The new policy, obviously, we know the TISMIT has been increased to 73,000 plus. Now, if every employer or most of the Australian employer employ skilled workers in such ratios, in such rate, then obviously that will promote a better economy and promote a better community in Australia. So that's what I have foreseen, the good things about the upcoming future of Australian migration. And we also know, and that's why I call the trend of the future will focus a lot on the employment sponsor. And we can see the number is also telling us that is correct, because if you look at the top right there, okay, it says the employer sponsor for 2024 and 25, 44,000. That's the most numbers included in the whole migration planning level there. So obviously the trend is there, and what the government is actually doing for the past month or about a year is clear out the bad players. Obviously it also damages some good players as well, but you gotta get this done. If this is done right, obviously for the next 6 months or a year, we will see a better environment for the international student and for the graduate to work, find the good right opportunity, and be employed with the rate that is supposedly assisting and helping the economy of Australia, then obviously everything will move onwards with the better pathway, shall I say. Anyway, should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.